welcome to Secret of the Zodiac. If you're here today, you've probably met a Capricorn, or at least heard of them. And let's be honest, trying to figure out this sign is like solving a mystery, right? On the surface, they might seem like they have everything together. They're serious, hardworking, and have a clear direction in life. But once you dig a little deeper, you start to realize that there's a lot more going on than meets the eye. Capricorn is the sign that keeps you guessing, with layers upon layers that make them incredibly intriguing and often confusing. Maybe you've had a Capricorn friend or partner, and you thought you had them all figured out. But then, out of nowhere, they surprised you. One moment they're cold and distant, and the next, they're offering you unwavering loyalty and support. It's this contradiction that makes Capricorn so captivating. They're ruled by Saturn, the planet of discipline and structure. But there's something else lurking beneath that calm, composed exterior. If you're trying to understand them, good luck, because the more you learn, the more you realize how complex they really are. In today's video, we're going to dive deep into 12 reasons why Capricorn is arguably the most confusing sign in the zodiac. But here's the kicker. You might find yourself nodding along to some of these reasons, or maybe you'll even be left wondering, hey, that's me. Because Capricorns are full of surprises. Their ability to balance ambition and emotions, to be both practical and idealistic, makes them fascinating to study. So before we jump into the specifics, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, hit that like button, and leave us a comment below. Let's unpack the mystery of Capricorn together. Are you ready to dive in? Because the first reason is going to challenge everything you thought you knew about this sign. Number 1. Ambitious yet reserved Capricorns are known for their ambition. They have an internal drive that pushes them to achieve great things. Whether it's in their career, their personal lives, or even in their relationships, they constantly strive for success. But here's where things get tricky. While they're always working toward their goals, they don't always like to talk about it. There's a sense of reservedness in Capricorns that leaves people puzzled. They often keep their ambitions to themselves, making it hard to truly understand how much they're actually accomplishing behind the scenes. If you've ever interacted with a Capricorn, you might notice this contrast. They might share bits of information about their day or goals, but it's often brief, guarded, and very calculated. Unlike other signs who are more open about their dreams and plans, Capricorns keep things under wraps. Their ambition is not something they flaunt. It's not about showing off or seeking validation from others. They're not interested in boasting about their accomplishments. They're focused on the results, not the applause. But why? What is it that makes Capricorns so reluctant to share their goals and achievements with others? The answer lies in their nature. Capricorns are ruled by Saturn, the planet that governs discipline, responsibility, and structure. Saturn's influence makes them believe that hard work should be its own reward. They don't need to announce their success to feel fulfilled because, for them, the true satisfaction comes from knowing they've put in the effort and reached their goal. This doesn't mean that Capricorns are completely silent about their ambitions. In fact, when you get close to them, you'll find they do have a lot to say about their plans, but only to those they trust. It's a selective thing. They'll open up about their goals to their inner circle, those they've given their loyalty to. But to the outside world, they're more reserved. It's almost as though they want to keep their accomplishments personal, not for others to dissect or judge. This can leave people confused. How can someone so driven and accomplished seem so distant? Why don't they want to share their successes? It's easy to misinterpret this behavior, thinking that Capricorn doesn't care about recognition or appreciation. But in reality, it's quite the opposite. Capricorns care deeply about the people they love, but they don't feel the need to prove anything to anyone outside of that circle. They would rather let their actions speak for themselves, showing the world their value through their achievements rather than through words. The truth is that Capricorns want to be seen for who they are and what they bring to the table, not for how much they talk about it. They value substance over showmanship. While other signs might be vocal about their dreams and goals, Capricorns are more likely to take a quiet approach, putting in the work and letting the results speak for themselves. But this can create a gap in understanding. People may misread their quietness as coldness or aloofness, and while Capricorns might not be the first to open up about their feelings, it doesn't mean they're emotionally distant. On the contrary, once you get to know them, you'll find they are incredibly loyal, caring, and deeply invested in their relationships. But that's a different side of them, one that comes out only once they've built trust and respect with someone. Until then, they keep their ambitions close to the chest, not because they don't value others' opinions, but because they believe in letting their actions prove their worth. Number 2, practical dreamers. Now, if there's one thing you should know about Capricorns, it's that they dream. Yes, despite their practical, grounded nature, they have big dreams. But here's where it gets confusing. Unlike other dreamers who might get lost in their idealistic fantasies, Capricorns are practical dreamers. They don't just chase after any random dream. They think carefully about what's achievable and what fits into their long-term plan. It's this combination of big dreams and grounded practicality that makes them such an enigma. Capricorns don't just dream for the sake of dreaming. They dream with purpose. Every goal they set is backed by a plan. They've thought about it from every angle. Will this move them closer to where they want to be? Does it align with their values and long-term vision? It's not about chasing after whatever catches their attention in the moment. It's about moving toward something substantial, something real. They're not interested in fleeting passions or distractions. Every dream they pursue serves a bigger purpose. But this is exactly what makes them confusing. They may seem like they're just going with the flow, like any other dreamer. But behind their seemingly spontaneous choices is a meticulous strategy that others often don't see. You might find a Capricorn taking a risk or going after something ambitious, but what seems like a leap of faith is actually just part of their carefully calculated plan. To others, it might appear like they're taking a wild chance, but to a Capricorn, it's all part of the bigger picture. This focus on practicality doesn't mean Capricorns lack imagination. On the contrary, they have incredible creativity, but it's always channeled into something that makes sense for them in the long term. If they start a business, they won't jump into it without careful planning. They'll research, build a solid foundation, and then move forward with caution. They won't risk everything on a whim. Instead, they'll break down their dreams into manageable pieces and pursue them step by step. For Capricorns, achieving their dreams is less about taking shortcuts and more about consistent, focused effort over time. But this can be a source of confusion for those who aren't familiar with the Capricorn approach. They seem to have an uncanny ability to balance dreams with reality. It's not about wishful thinking, it's about transforming those dreams into tangible outcomes. And this is what makes Capricorns so fascinating. They have the ability to see possibilities that others might miss, but they're also grounded enough to know that achieving them takes hard work and patience. So, if you ever find yourself wondering why a Capricorn seems so focused, so driven, yet so calm in the face of their own big dreams, it's because they've already mapped out the path ahead. What seems like a big leap to you is simply the next step in their journey toward a carefully thought-out goal. They're not just dreamers, they're dreamers with a plan, and in the world of zodiac signs, that makes them truly unique. Number 3, serious with a sense of humor. If you've ever had the chance to interact with a Capricorn, you'll know that they can be surprisingly hard to figure out. One moment, they're giving you a serious, no-nonsense answer, and the next moment, they're cracking a joke that catches you off guard. This sharp contrast between their stoic nature and their ability to lighten the mood with humor is something that throws many people off. Capricorns have this tendency to appear very serious and businesslike, especially when it comes to their work or personal goals. They take life seriously, whether it's their career, their responsibilities, or their long-term plans. They approach everything with the same level of focus and discipline. It's one of the things that makes them so reliable and dependable. You can count on a Capricorn to stay on task and deliver. They won't waste time on frivolous activities or idle chatter. They're constantly moving toward the next goal, the next challenge. But then, just when you think you've got them figured out, they drop a joke. It's not always loud or obnoxious humor, but rather a dry wit or a clever observation that catches you off guard. And it's never forced. It's just a natural part of who they are. A Capricorn's sense of humor can be subtle, sometimes ironic, but it's never lacking in intelligence. They don't need to be the life of the party to have fun. They're more likely to sit back, observe, and then make a remark that leaves everyone laughing. This duality can be confusing for people who don't know Capricorn well. One minute, they're discussing a serious topic, focused on their latest project or ambition, and the next, they're sharing a sarcastic comment or a witty remark that lightens the entire mood. It's like they have two sides, one that's deeply focused on the practical side of life, and another that appreciates humor and enjoys a good laugh. This is one of the things that makes Capricorns such intriguing people. They're not just one-dimensional, they have layers. For example, imagine you're at a meeting with a Capricorn. They might be giving a presentation or leading the discussion, staying focused and efficient. But then, at the end of the meeting, they'll make a joke that eases the tension in the room, breaking the serious tone with something unexpected. It's this ability to seamlessly switch from serious to playful that keeps people on their toes. It's hard to predict how they'll behave next, which adds to their mystery. But there's more to it than just being unpredictable. Capricorns have a unique approach to humor that reflects their practical, grounded nature. Their jokes are often laced with wisdom or insight, and they have a way of making people laugh while also teaching them something valuable. It's not about telling silly jokes for the sake of laughter. It's about using humor as a way to connect with others and bring some lightness to the seriousness of life. For Capricorns, humor is a tool for building relationships, for creating a bond with people without compromising their sense of focus or responsibility. And this is where it gets interesting. Capricorn's sense of humor isn't just about them, it's about the people they interact with. They use humor as a way to gauge the people around them, to test their reactions, and to see who shares their values. A well-timed joke or a dry remark can be their way of opening up to others. It's a subtle form of connection that allows them to show their softer side without losing their composed exterior. So, if you've ever found yourself feeling a little off guard by a Capricorn's humor, know that it's part of their charm. They have a way of balancing seriousness with playfulness that makes them fascinating to be around. They're not just rigid, work-focused individuals. They have a depth to them that includes a quick wit and a sense of humor that's as sharp as their ambition. And it's this combination of traits that makes them one of the most interesting and, at times, confusing signs to understand. Number 4, emotionally guarded but deeply caring. If there's one thing that defines Capricorn's emotional world, it's the fact that they keep their feelings closely guarded. Capricorns are known for their practical approach to life, and when it comes to emotions, they are no different. Unlike some signs who are open and expressive with their feelings, Capricorns tend to hold their emotions close to the chest. They are rarely the ones to share their vulnerabilities or openly talk about their struggles. Instead, they prefer to keep their emotional world private, managing their feelings in a way that feels safe and controlled. This emotional restraint often leaves others wondering just what's going on beneath the surface. A Capricorn may seem distant, even cold at times. They're not the type to pour their heart out in front of others, but don't let their stoic exterior fool you. They care deeply about the people in their lives. It's just that they show their care in more subtle ways. For Capricorns, actions speak louder than words. They might not be the first to express their feelings verbally, but they will show their affection through their actions. If a Capricorn cares about you, they will make sure to show up when you need them. They'll support you in practical ways, whether it's offering help with a project, lending a hand in times of need, or even quietly taking on responsibilities that others might overlook. For Capricorns, caring means being dependable and reliable, even if they don't always say the words, "I love you," or "I care about you." This can be frustrating for those who don't understand Capricorn's way of expressing affection. They may seem aloof or distant, and others may question whether they care at all. But the truth is that Capricorns express their love and loyalty through consistency and commitment. They show they care by being there for the long haul, sticking by your side through thick and thin. They're not the type to abandon someone they love, no matter how difficult the situation may be. This deep, unwavering loyalty is one of Capricorn's most endearing qualities, but it's also one of the hardest to see, especially for those who are used to more overt displays of affection. Capricorns are also incredibly protective of the people they love. While they may not wear their heart on their sleeve, they are fiercely loyal and will go to great lengths to protect their loved ones. If a Capricorn considers you part of their inner circle, they'll make sure to stand up for you, offer support, and help you when you need it most. But they do this quietly, without fanfare or attention. They don't need praise for their actions. They do it because it's simply part of who they are. At the same time, this emotional restraint can create a wall between them and others. Capricorns sometimes struggle to let their guard down, even with the people they care about most. It takes time for them to open up and share their innermost feelings. They're not quick to trust, and they often need to be convinced that someone truly deserves their vulnerability. This can make them seem emotionally distant, but it's really just a defense mechanism. Capricorns want to protect themselves from being hurt, and so they keep their emotions tightly controlled until they feel safe enough to let them go. For anyone trying to understand Capricorn, this can be one of the most confusing aspects of their personality. On the one hand, they can seem distant and emotionally reserved, but on the other hand, they are incredibly loyal and loving. It's a paradox that can leave others scratching their heads. But once you understand the Capricorn way of caring, quiet, steadfast, and dependable, it becomes clear that their emotional world is much deeper than it first appears. Number 5. Aloof yet ultra. Loyal Capricorns are notorious for their aloofness. To the untrained eye, they can come off as distant, reserved, or even cold at times. They're not the type to flood you with personal details about their life or share their deepest thoughts over a coffee. They're incredibly private individuals who don't easily open up. This can leave people wondering, do they even care? But here's where things get tricky. Beneath that cool, composed exterior lies a fiercely loyal and devoted individual. And once you've earned a Capricorn's trust, you'll find that their loyalty knows no bounds. Let's take a closer look at this contradiction. A Capricorn can appear aloof in social situations, keeping a low profile and not engaging much with others. They may be physically present, but mentally, they're often somewhere else, absorbed in their own thoughts, their plans, or their ambitions. They don't seek attention, nor do they feel the need to constantly interact with those around them. It's not that they're uninterested in people. They're just more selective about who they engage with and on what level. In fact, a Capricorn can seem like an enigma in a room full of people. While others are laughing, chatting, and being open, a Capricorn might be quietly observing. It's easy to mistake this quiet behavior for disinterest. But the truth is, Capricorns are often just scanning the room, assessing the situation, and weighing their options. They're not ignoring you. They're simply taking the time to understand the environment and the people around them before they make any decisions about who to trust or connect with. This ability to remain aloof, however, doesn't mean they don't care. Once a Capricorn does decide that someone is worth their time and energy, they give that person their complete loyalty and devotion. They're not the type to casually toss around their trust or affection. Capricorns give their loyalty carefully, but when they do, it's for life. And this loyalty goes far beyond words. It's shown through their actions. A Capricorn will go above and beyond for those they care about. They will stand by you when times are tough, provide support when you need it most, and offer a sense of reliability that's hard to come by. Their loyalty is grounded in a deep sense of duty. They take their commitments seriously, and once they've made a promise, you can count on them to follow through. They won't abandon you when things get difficult, and they won't leave you hanging. They believe in sticking together no matter what. But all of this loyalty comes with a caveat. A Capricorn needs to feel secure and respected before they open up to someone. They're not quick to let others in, and they'll often take their time to build a strong foundation of trust. They don't just give their loyalty to anyone. They give it to those who have earned it, who have demonstrated that they can be trusted and relied upon. It's a high standard to meet, but once someone has proven themselves, a Capricorn's loyalty is unwavering. This selective approach can be confusing to those who don't understand Capricorn's way of thinking. They might seem emotionally distant, but that's just their way of protecting themselves. They don't want to invest their time and energy into someone who isn't worthy of their loyalty. They've been hurt before, and as a result, they've developed a cautious approach to relationships. But once they've decided that someone is worth their trust, they give their all, and there's no turning back. The real challenge comes when others misinterpret this aloofness. People may think that a Capricorn doesn't care or isn't interested in building a connection, but in reality, they're just taking their time, making sure they're not being too hasty. Once they've opened up, they're in it for the long haul. They're not the type to jump from one relationship to another. They're looking for quality, not quantity. And when they find it, they'll be the most loyal, dependable friend or partner you could ever ask for. Number 6, workaholic with a hidden lazy side. If there's one thing that Capricorns are known for, it's their tireless work ethic. They are the ones who are always putting in the effort, grinding away toward their goals, and never giving up, no matter how tough things get. Capricorns take their work seriously. They believe in doing things the right way, and they're willing to put in the hours, the sweat, and the dedication it takes to succeed. Whether it's their career, their personal projects, or their relationships, Capricorns always go above and beyond to make sure they're giving their best. This relentless drive makes them stand out in a crowd. Capricorns are known for their persistence and determination. When they set a goal, they don't stop until they've achieved it. They don't let obstacles stand in their way, and they certainly don't let failure discourage them. For Capricorns, success is the ultimate goal, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to get there. They thrive on structure and routine, and they work best when they have a clear path to follow. But here's the thing. Despite their reputation as workaholics, Capricorns also have a hidden lazy side. Yes, you read that right. After all that hard work, Capricorns can sometimes surprise you with how lazy they can be. It's almost like they have two sides to their personality: the ambitious, driven worker and the laid-back, leisure-loving individual who enjoys taking long breaks when they finally get the chance. It's not that they don't value their work, it's just that when they finally do allow themselves to rest, they go all in. Capricorns are so focused on their goals that when they finally hit a milestone or complete a big project, they tend to crash. All that energy and focus they've put into their work leaves them feeling drained, and they'll often take long periods to recharge. They might spend hours binge watching a show, napping, or indulging in a hobby that requires minimal effort. It's not laziness in the traditional sense. They're simply giving themselves the space to relax and reset. This duality can be confusing. How can someone so hardworking also seem so lazy at times? It's all about balance. Capricorns need to give themselves permission to rest after a period of intense work. It's their way of ensuring they don't burn out. After all, a Capricorn knows that in order to keep being productive, they need to take care of their mental and physical health. It's just that their version of self-care might look a little different from what you'd expect. To an outside observer, this can seem strange. One minute, they're grinding away, accomplishing tasks with laser focus, and the next, they're doing absolutely nothing. It's almost as if they've switched off completely. But this ebb and flow is a crucial part of the Capricorn lifestyle. It's their way of recharging so that they can go back to their ambitious pursuits with even more energy and determination. They know that rest is just as important as hard work, and without it, they wouldn't be able to maintain their high level of performance. This tendency to overwork and then completely shut down can make Capricorns seem unpredictable or inconsistent. But the truth is, they're simply following their natural rhythm. They push hard when they need to, and then they rest when it's time to recharge. It's a balance that works for them, even if it doesn't always make sense to others. For a Capricorn, it's all about finding the right moments to give their all and the right moments to give themselves a break. And when they're able to find that balance, they're unstoppable. Number 7, stoic but surprisingly sensitive. Capricorns are often characterized by their stoic nature. They are the masters of composure, keeping their emotions in check and rarely letting anything ruffle their feathers. Whether it's a personal setback, a stressful situation, or a challenge at work, a Capricorn is likely to stay calm and collected, seemingly unaffected by the chaos around them. Their stoicism can be seen as a strength. After all, it's a trait that allows them to handle pressure and move forward without being overwhelmed. In many ways, this makes them a reliable pillar for others, especially in moments of crisis. However, this cool and collected exterior can sometimes give the impression that Capricorns are emotionally detached or even indifferent. People may mistakenly think they are unaffected by what's happening around them, or that they don't experience emotions the way others do. This is where the real complexity of Capricorn's nature begins to unfold. Beneath their stoic shell, Capricorns are actually quite sensitive. They may not show it openly, but they feel things deeply, sometimes more than they are willing to admit, even to themselves. Capricorns are ruled by Saturn, the planet of discipline, structure, and boundaries. As a result, they are conditioned to hold back their emotions, to avoid displaying vulnerability. They believe that emotional restraint is a form of strength. After all, if you don't let your emotions get in the way, you can focus on what truly matters, achieving your goals, taking care of your responsibilities, and maintaining your self-control. But in doing so, they often suppress their feelings, pushing them down into the depths of their inner world, where they can sometimes go unnoticed by others. This internal conflict is one of the most confusing aspects of Capricorn's personality. On the outside, they may seem like the epitome of emotional strength, stoic, calm, unshakable. But beneath the surface, they can be highly sensitive, affected by the very things they choose not to show. Whether it's a harsh criticism from someone they respect, a failure that challenges their pride, or even the emotional needs of others, Capricorns feel it all. They just don't always know how to express it. In fact, Capricorns often feel misunderstood because of this very trait. They want to appear strong, competent, and in control. But inside, they're dealing with a complex web of emotions. They may struggle with expressing their feelings, unsure of how to convey their sensitivity without appearing weak or vulnerable. And so, they retreat further into their stoicism, even though it means carrying emotional burdens that others might not even be aware of. But when Capricorns do open up, when they feel safe enough to let their guard down, they reveal a side of themselves that is often hidden. In these moments, their sensitivity can shine through in ways that are surprisingly tender and vulnerable. You may discover that a Capricorn cares deeply about the well-being of others, that they are quick to pick up on subtle emotional cues, and that they have an almost intuitive sense of empathy for the people they care about. But getting to this point requires time, trust, and a deep connection. They don't share their emotional world easily, but when they do, it's a gift. This sensitivity is often tied to their deep sense of responsibility. Capricorns take their commitments seriously, whether it's to a person, a job, or a goal. They often feel that their actions have consequences, and they are highly attuned to how their decisions affect others. This awareness can make them incredibly self-critical, as they worry about letting people down or failing to meet expectations. But it can also make them deeply empathetic, as they understand the importance of showing care and support to those around them. So, when you encounter a Capricorn who seems distant or emotionally unavailable, don't assume that they don't care. They do. It's just that they are navigating their own emotional world in a way that isn't always visible to others. And if you're lucky enough to break through their emotional walls, you'll find a sensitive, caring person who values loyalty, trust, and emotional connection more than anything. Number 8. Traditional, yet open to change Capricorns are known for their love of tradition. They are creatures of habit, finding comfort in routines, structures, and established ways of doing things. Whether it's following the same path to success that their ancestors took, or adhering to social conventions, Capricorns tend to value stability and consistency above all else. They feel most secure when they know what to expect and when they can rely on tried and true methods to get the job done. For many Capricorns, traditions are more than just habits. They are a way of honoring the past, of maintaining a sense of continuity in a world that often feels unpredictable. They have a deep respect for history, for the lessons learned by those who came before them, and for the systems that have been put in place to create order and balance in society. It's not just about following rules for the sake of following them. It's about preserving what has worked, ensuring that future generations can build upon the foundation that has already been laid. However, this deep attachment to tradition doesn't mean that Capricorns are completely resistant to change. In fact, one of the most surprising things about them is their ability to embrace change when they can see a practical reason for it. Unlike some signs that may resist change out of fear or stubbornness, Capricorns approach new ideas with a pragmatic mindset. They don't reject change just for the sake of holding on to the old ways. Instead, they carefully evaluate whether the change will improve their lives or help them achieve their goals. For example, if a Capricorn is presented with a new technology that could improve their efficiency at work, they'll be open to learning how to use it. They're not afraid of modern advancements, as long as they serve a practical purpose. In fact, Capricorns are often quick to adopt new tools, techniques, or strategies that can help them perform better, as long as the change aligns with their overall goals. They are willing to adapt to new circumstances when they see a tangible benefit, but they won't just jump on the bandwagon for the sake of being trendy. This combination of traditional values and openness to change can make Capricorns seem a bit contradictory at times. On one hand, they may seem like they're firmly rooted in the past, clinging to established ways of thinking and doing things. On the other hand, they are capable of pivoting and evolving when the situation calls for it. It's this balance between honoring tradition and embracing innovation that makes Capricorns so interesting. They don't view change as a threat to their stability. They see it as a tool to help them improve and move forward. This adaptability can be a huge asset in today's fast-paced world, where change is constant. While other signs may struggle with uncertainty or resist the need to adjust, Capricorns are more than capable of rolling with the punches. They can maintain their core values and principles while remaining flexible enough to adapt to new circumstances. This makes them incredibly resilient and resourceful, able to navigate both traditional and modern challenges with equal ease. So while Capricorns may seem like they're stuck in their ways, don't be fooled. Beneath their love for tradition lies a practical, forward-thinking individual who knows when it's time to adapt and change. And when they do make a shift, you can be sure that it's a well-considered decision, made with purpose and a clear vision for the future. Number 9, driven by success, but questioning their own worth. Capricorns are often seen as the most ambitious and driven individuals in the zodiac. They have an unrelenting desire to succeed and achieve their goals, often working tirelessly to climb the proverbial ladder of success. When it comes to their career, personal growth, or any project they undertake, Capricorns are all in. They are determined, focused, and committed to reaching the top, and nothing is going to stand in their way. For them, success isn't just a goal, it's a way of life. However, despite their impressive drive and unwavering work ethic, Capricorns are notorious for questioning their own worth. It's almost as if no matter how much they achieve, they always feel like they're not quite good enough. This can be incredibly confusing to those around them, as they seem to have everything they could ever want: success, stability, recognition, yet they often feel insecure or dissatisfied with their accomplishments. This inner conflict stems from a deep need for perfection. Capricorns are perfectionists by nature, and they set incredibly high standards for themselves. They don't just want to succeed, they want to succeed at the highest level possible. This can drive them to push themselves harder and harder, sometimes to the point of exhaustion. They are constantly striving for more, seeking to be the best, and rarely giving themselves credit for what they've already accomplished. Even after achieving a major milestone, they often look ahead and think, what's next? It's this relentless pursuit of perfection that keeps them questioning whether they've truly done enough. Capricorns also have a tendency to compare themselves to others, which only exacerbates their feelings of inadequacy. No matter how successful they are, they may feel like they're not measuring up to the people around them, especially if those people are achieving similar or greater success. This is where their self-doubt comes into play. They constantly evaluate their own worth based on external factors, measuring themselves against the success and achievements of others. And even if they're doing well in their own right, they often feel like they're falling short. It's a difficult cycle to break free from, and it can leave Capricorns feeling like they're never truly able to enjoy their success. But this internal struggle doesn't mean that Capricorns lack self-awareness. In fact, they are highly introspective individuals who are acutely aware of their own flaws and shortcomings. They know exactly where they need to improve and what they need to do to get better. This self-awareness can sometimes be overwhelming, as it means they are always looking for ways to grow, evolve, and reach the next level. They are never content with where they are, always striving for more, even when they've already achieved a great deal. While this drive for success can lead to impressive achievements, it can also be mentally and emotionally exhausting. Capricorns often feel the weight of their own expectations, and the pressure to be perfect can take a toll on their mental health. They can be their own harshest critics, always focusing on what they haven't done, rather than celebrating what they have accomplished. This tendency to downplay their own achievements can leave them feeling unsatisfied, despite their outward success. It's a paradox. They are incredibly successful, yet they often feel unworthy of their accomplishments. To the people who love and admire them, it can be frustrating to see Capricorns struggle with this self-doubt. They often offer support and encouragement, reminding them of their many accomplishments, but it doesn't always resonate with a Capricorn's internal narrative. They are so focused on what they still have to achieve that they struggle to acknowledge how far they've come. It's this lack of self-compassion that can make Capricorns seem like they're always chasing something they can never quite reach. But here's the thing. Capricorns need to learn to recognize their own worth and give themselves credit for their hard work. They need to understand that success isn't just about reaching the next goal. It's also about appreciating the progress they've made along the way. They're often so focused on the destination that they forget to enjoy the journey. If they can learn to celebrate their achievements, no matter how big or small, they may find that their sense of self-worth becomes stronger and more grounded. Number 10. The perfectionist who never feels perfect. Capricorns are perfectionists through and through. They set incredibly high standards for themselves in every aspect of their lives, whether it's their career, relationships, or personal development. For Capricorns, good enough is never good enough. They want to do things perfectly, and they put immense pressure on themselves to meet their own sky-high expectations. They are constantly striving for excellence, and they won't stop until they feel they've reached the peak of perfection. This drive for perfection is one of Capricorn's most defining traits. It's what propels them forward and motivates them to keep going, even when the going gets tough. They have an intense desire to do things right, to do them at the highest level, and to be recognized for their hard work and achievements. But the paradox is this: no matter how perfect their efforts may seem to others, Capricorns rarely feel like they've reached perfection themselves. For a Capricorn, the pursuit of perfection is a never-ending journey. Even when they accomplish something extraordinary, they often focus on the imperfections, on what could have been done better, on what still needs to be improved. They are constantly evaluating themselves and their work, looking for ways to enhance, refine, and perfect every detail. This perfectionist mindset can lead to frustration, as Capricorns rarely feel fully satisfied with their efforts. They are their own harshest critics, always seeking to improve, but never feeling like they've truly reached the ideal standard they've set for themselves. This relentless pursuit of perfection can sometimes create a sense of inadequacy. No matter how hard they work or how much they accomplish, Capricorns often feel like they're falling short. They might achieve something impressive in the eyes of others, but to them, it's never enough. They are constantly pushing themselves to do more, to be better, to be perfect, and as a result, they often struggle to enjoy their success or feel a sense of pride in their accomplishments. This perfectionism can also lead to burnout. Capricorns may push themselves to the limit, working tirelessly and obsessing over every detail, only to find themselves mentally and physically exhausted. They may become so consumed with achieving perfection that they neglect their own well-being, sacrificing their health, relationships, and happiness in the process. But because they believe that perfection is the ultimate goal, they may not recognize the toll it's taking on them until it's too late. In relationships, Capricorn's perfectionism can sometimes create tension. They may expect their partners, friends, or colleagues to meet the same high standards they set for themselves, which can create pressure and frustration. They may struggle to accept imperfection in others, seeing it as a reflection of their own shortcomings. But the truth is that no one is perfect, not even a Capricorn, and learning to embrace imperfection, both in themselves and in others, is one of the most important lessons a Capricorn can learn. Ultimately, Capricorns need to understand that perfection is an unattainable ideal. No matter how hard they try, they will never be perfect, and that's okay. What matters is the effort they put in, the progress they make, and the growth they experience along the way. If they can learn to appreciate their own accomplishments and accept that perfection is a moving target, they may find greater peace and fulfillment in their pursuits. Number 11, tough shell. Soft-heart Capricorns are often known for their tough exterior, a kind of armor they've developed over the years to protect themselves from the challenges and hardships they've faced. On the surface, they may appear cold, reserved, and even intimidating. They are the type of people who seem unflappable, never letting their emotions show, no matter how intense the situation. Whether it's a tough day at work, a personal struggle, or a family crisis, a Capricorn tends to remain composed, rarely showing any signs of weakness or vulnerability. This stoic nature is part of what makes them so dependable and reliable. Others can count on them to stay strong, no matter what. However, what many people fail to see is the soft heart that lies beneath this tough shell. Capricorns may not be quick to show their emotions, but when it comes to the people they care about, their love, loyalty, and compassion run deep. Beneath all of that practicality, ambition, and self-discipline, there is a person who is deeply sensitive, caring, and protective of those they love. Capricorns may not wear their heart on their sleeve, but they feel things intensely. They value their close relationships above all else, and they will go to great lengths to support and care for the people they consider part of their inner circle. This emotional depth is often hidden from view. Capricorns are masters at concealing their vulnerabilities, sometimes even from themselves. They don't want to appear weak or overly emotional, so they put up a wall to protect their innermost feelings. But those who take the time to truly understand them will discover that Capricorns are incredibly loyal and fiercely protective of the people they love. They might not show it in an obvious way, but their actions speak volumes. When a Capricorn cares about someone, they are there for them in a way that few other signs can match. The key to understanding this dynamic is recognizing that Capricorns don't easily open up. They have a natural tendency to keep their emotions in check, often putting the needs of others ahead of their own. This selflessness can make them seem distant at times, as they prioritize their responsibilities and goals over personal connections. But when they do decide to let someone in, the depth of their care and devotion is truly remarkable. The soft side of a Capricorn often comes out in moments of crisis. When someone they care about is going through a tough time, Capricorns are the first to offer support, even if it means putting aside their own needs. They may not be the most openly affectionate or expressive people, but their quiet acts of kindness and loyalty are a testament to their love. A Capricorn will show their care through their actions, whether it's providing practical help, offering advice, or simply being there when you need them most. For a Capricorn, love is shown in the way they stand by you during the tough times, in the small gestures that let you know they are there for you, no matter what. But it's not just about being there during the tough times. Capricorns also cherish the people they love and want to see them succeed and thrive. They have an innate desire to help others reach their full potential, and they will do whatever they can to support the people they care about in their personal or professional pursuits. Whether it's offering guidance, encouragement, or even financial support, a Capricorn will always have your back if they consider you part of their inner circle. What makes this even more powerful is that Capricorns are not motivated by the need for recognition or praise. They don't need to be told how much they are appreciated or loved. For them, showing love and loyalty is its own reward. They don't need to broadcast their actions or receive external validation. They simply do what they feel is right because they genuinely care. This selflessness is one of the most beautiful aspects of Capricorn's personality, even if it's not always immediately apparent. So if you ever find yourself wondering about the true nature of a Capricorn, just remember, behind that tough shell is a heart that is capable of immense love, loyalty, and care. They may not express their emotions openly, but that doesn't mean they don't feel deeply. It simply means they've learned to protect themselves from the world while giving their all to the people who matter most to them. Number 12. Planners with a dash of spontaneity Capricorns are known for their ability to plan ahead. They are the ultimate organizers, always thinking several steps ahead and preparing for every possible scenario. Whether it's their career, their finances, or their personal life, Capricorns like to have a plan. They thrive on structure, routine, and predictability. Their meticulous attention to detail and their ability to forecast future outcomes make them incredibly reliable, and they are often seen as the ones who have everything under control. For a Capricorn, a well-thought-out plan is the key to success. They believe that success doesn't happen by accident. It's the result of careful preparation, hard work, and thoughtful decision-making. When a Capricorn sets a goal, they break it down into manageable steps, create a timeline, and stick to the plan no matter what. They are relentless in their pursuit of their objectives and will do whatever it takes to achieve them. But here's the twist. While Capricorns are exceptional planners, they also have a surprisingly spontaneous side. This doesn't mean they throw their plans out the window at the drop of a hat, but rather that they are capable of embracing moments of spontaneity when the situation calls for it. Capricorns may seem like they live their lives with everything planned to perfection, but they also know when to step out of their comfort zone and embrace the unexpected. Whether it's a last-minute trip, an impromptu decision, or a spontaneous adventure, Capricorns are often able to adapt and enjoy the moment, even if it's not part of their original plan. This balance between structure and spontaneity is what makes Capricorn such a unique and intriguing sign. They are the type of people who will plan a vacation down to the last detail, ensuring that everything goes according to plan. But when something unexpected comes up, when the opportunity for an adventure arises, they won't hesitate to take it. They know that life is about balance, and sometimes a little bit of unpredictability can be exactly what they need to refresh their perspective and break free from their rigid structure. In relationships, this blend of planning and spontaneity can be both exciting and puzzling. On one hand, Capricorns are incredibly reliable and dependable partners, always there when you need them, with a clear sense of direction and purpose. On the other hand, they can surprise you with spontaneous gestures or unexpected decisions that shake things up in the best way possible. Whether it's a surprise dinner, a last-minute weekend getaway, or a new plan they've come up with, Capricorns know how to keep things interesting while still staying true to their sense of purpose and responsibility. This duality, being a planner with a dash of spontaneity, makes Capricorns incredibly adaptable. They are able to maintain their focus and discipline while still embracing the freedom and excitement of life's unexpected moments. It's this flexibility that allows them to balance their ambitious goals with the joys of living in the present moment. They don't let their need for structure keep them from enjoying the spontaneity of life. Instead, they find ways to integrate both aspects into their daily lives, creating a harmonious balance that works for them. So, if you ever find yourself caught off guard by a Capricorn's spontaneous decision or unexpected change of plans, know that it's just part of who they are. They are masters at blending the practical and the adventurous, and this ability to balance structure with spontaneity makes them one of the most well-rounded and fascinating signs of the zodiac. Well, we've come to the end of our deep dive into the mysterious and fascinating world of Capricorn. If there's one thing we've learned, it's that Capricorns are far more complex than they first appear. From their ambitious drive to their emotional depth, they are a sign that keeps you on your toes. If you've ever encountered a Capricorn in your life, you know that understanding them is like peeling back layers of a well-guarded mystery. And just when you think you've got them figured out, they reveal something new and unexpected. Throughout this video, we've discussed 12 reasons why Capricorn is one of the most confusing signs of the zodiac, but also one of the most intriguing. Let's take a moment to recap what we've learned so far. Capricorns are driven by success, often questioning their worth despite their achievements. They are perfectionists, constantly striving for more, yet never feeling completely satisfied with their own progress. They can appear stoic and emotionally distant, but beneath that tough shell lies a caring, loyal heart that would do anything for the people they love. Capricorns may seem like they have everything planned out, but they're also open to spontaneity, embracing the unexpected when the time is right. This combination of traits makes them incredibly hard to figure out. They are the ultimate planners, yet they can surprise you with a spontaneous decision that shakes things up. They are fiercely ambitious, yet humble enough to constantly question their own worth. They are emotionally reserved, but their loyalty and love run deep. All of these contradictions, these complexities, make Capricorn a sign that is both challenging and captivating. But here's the thing about Capricorn. They're not trying to be confusing. They just have a lot going on beneath the surface. And if you take the time to really understand them, you'll see that they are as multifaceted as any other sign. They are a blend of strength and sensitivity, discipline and creativity, tradition and innovation. And when you take the time to appreciate all of these layers, you'll find that Capricorn is one of the most rewarding signs to get to know. Now we want to hear from you. Do you agree with the reasons we've shared about Capricorn? Or do you have other insights or experiences with Capricorns that we didn't mention? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We love reading your comments and hearing your perspectives on the Zodiac. Plus, don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. Your support means a lot to us and helps us keep bringing you the best content on all things astrology. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to Secret of the Zodiac. We have so much more content coming your way, including in-depth videos about all the signs and much more. When you subscribe, you'll be the first to know when new videos are up, so you don't miss out on any of the cosmic insights we have to share. And while we're talking about support, we'd like to ask for your help in a different way. If you enjoy our videos and want to see more daily content, consider supporting Secret of the Zodiac through Super Thanks. It's a great way for you to directly contribute to the channel and help us cover costs while allowing us to bring you even more videos each day. With your Super Thanks, we'll be able to keep making content that you love and continue expanding our community of Zodiac enthusiasts. Every little bit helps, and we genuinely appreciate your support. It allows us to keep the magic of the Zodiac alive. Remember, your contributions, whether in the form of a comment, a like, a Super Thanks, or a simple subscription, are all incredibly meaningful to us. They help us grow and improve, and they allow us to bring you even more content that'll deepen your understanding of astrology and the Zodiac. So, take a moment to leave us a comment, hit that like button, and show your support in whatever way feels right to you. And lastly, don't forget to check out our other videos. We have tons of content already waiting for you, covering everything from the detailed traits of each Zodiac sign to compatibility guides and in-depth astrology topics. You won't want to miss any of it. Thank you so much for watching and for being a part of our community. We appreciate every single one of you, and we can't wait to continue this cosmic journey with you. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the stars.